Okay, well, we do not have a July 27th GPC agenda due to no items being on it currently, but I did want to pull up the schedule just so that you could see the topics that are scheduled to be covered. So hopefully those items will be populated soon.
Yeah, those are the 3 items that we agreed to have on the agenda. That should be the agenda.
Okay. Well, we'll follow up with folks and make sure that these items get on there. And then we'll distribute the draft agenda to everyone.
Yeah, that is what we agreed at I think the last meeting that it should be, the last GPC, I think it was.
Okay.
Unless someone has other concerns and issues on the 27th. Anybody? Just speak up if you do, because I can't see everybody's hand. Brian?
We cannot hear you, Commissioner.
Yep. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yep.
We got you.
All right, great. Do we want to move up a discussion on utilities we have? If we wanted to have a conversation, direction would be given to staff at the end of July, which would give them essentially August and September before the new authority comes in. Would we want to move that forward to to have a conversation about different things that we may want to direct staff on related to that?
We could put a placeholder on there.
Okay.
On July 27th?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what is, this came up yesterday at a Gainesville Neighborhood Voices meeting that me and Commissioner Book were at. What was your thought about where the housing policy discussion was going to go on July 27th? What were you hoping to get from that, Mr. Mayor?
I would like to hear what sorts of things people, commissioners specifically, are interested in working on and regarding housing policy.
Okay.
Well, I guess we would need to come forth. I need to rally with staff as well to just kind of make sure we have a plan forward for the discussion from staff side.
Right.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Quick question. So in terms of the utility discussion, we talked about this briefly at the commission meeting. If there's any direction that the commission could give to me on if I need to bring anything forward, or is this mostly like just a discussion among commissioners? I just need to know if I need to prepare anything for the meeting.
In my mind, it's a placeholder in case we need to do anything, because I think there will probably be unforeseen sorts of things that we need to address in a relatively short window. So by keeping an opportunity available on the agendas as a placeholder, I think that's just an agenda management tool.
Yeah.
But if someone has something specific, then they should.
Is it appropriate? I don't know what's appropriate in this meeting to say about specifics. Since this is a sunshine meeting, I might be okay. Is it okay for me to mention specifics here?
Sure. If you need something on there, then
No, I mean, I would imagine that there is certain direction that would make sense to come from the commission. One is that we are now, we are now by our charter required to do a transition between the city commission and Gainesville Regional Utilities Authority. That is what our charter now states. And so giving direction to the effect that would show, I think, a good faith effort to that. Some of the things staff's already working on, Tony, we discussed like service level agreements, certain things that would just help allow that transition to go forward. There's not a lot to discuss about it, and we're going to have to respond as things come up. But I would imagine just, I would think it would be easier to smoothly move forward if we gave kind of clear direction as to service level, make sure that you're bringing us back service level agreements, make sure that you're reviewing ordinances, timelines for when we would want that done, and to make sure that staff knows that that's something that we would like to be working on.
Okay, that's helpful.
I believe City Attorney has his hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I don't mean to interrupt. During the time period prior to raising my hand, I was having some kind of system problem. I think the Zoom must have updated since last time I used it. So I just wanted to say, if anyone was calling out for me, I wasn't entirely present until then, but I'm with us now.
Okay, good. All right, any further questions about this July 27th agenda? Okay, let's do
All right.
the July 20.
Okay, so starting with the consent agenda, we have our approval of minutes item. Then moving on to joint city commission, city plan board meeting to discuss upcoming comprehensive plan updates. It's setting that meeting on August 15th. Hartwood driveway easement for lot 25. There's a request for qualifications award for consultant services for transit route restoration plan. Request for proposal award for professional services grant funded stormwater projects.
And once again, if anybody has questions about any of these, go ahead and speak out because I can't see everybody's hand.
Moving on to request for proposal award for professional services for public safety facilities. Request for proposal award for professional services for transportation projects. Continuous auditing program part 2. The city auditor quarterly update. Contract for annual processing and beneficial reuse composting of vegetative waste. There's a task assignment amendment for Northeast Waldo Road and Northeast 3rd Avenue safety improvements. Yep. Is there somebody?
Is there a question?
No? Okay. We have the resignation of Benjamin Fox from the Wild Spaces Public Places Citizen Oversight Committee. Fire prevention and safety grant for community risk reduction equipment. National Endowment for the Arts grants for arts projects, local arts agencies, general programming support application. There's the letter of support for Rebuilding Together, Community Weatherization Coalition empowers application for the Department of Energy Buildings Upgrade Grant. RTS advertising display agreement between Gold Leaf Agency LLC and the City of Gainesville Regional Transit System. Agreement with the District Board of Trustees of Santa Fe College and the City of Gainesville Regional Transit System.
Could I interrupt you there?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
One item above, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if it's up or
Yeah.
down here on the screen.
Yeah.
The advertising display agreement, I'll just say for the manager, that may have some slight broader discussion that would come out of, what we do with marketing and advertising. So I'd say it could lead to maybe a little bit broader discussion. That's all.
So do you want to pull it off for?
No, not at all. Not at all. Totally appropriate. And just no, it's probably.
Okay.
Thank you.
Adoption of the Regional Transit System fiscal year 23-24 annual progress report of the Transit Development Plan. So we have a draft item authorization to enter into a cooperative purchasing contract with Musco Sports Lighting LLC.
Excuse me.
Anybody? Questions? No?
Okay.
Okay.
Regional Transit System proposed fall 2023 transit service changes.
Does that mean that we have renegotiated with the University of Florida? Is that a substantial change from what it was before, or is this just a? What does this item mean exactly? I guess what I'm asking.
Okay, let me get back to you in terms of just providing that explanation.
All right, thank you.
RTS advertising display agreement with Allen Law Firm, PA, and the City of Gainesville Regional Transit System. The interim city clerk employment agreement. Renewal memorandum of agreement with Northeast Florida Utility Coordination Group. Moving on to our business discussion items for the morning. We have a draft item, Alachua County Teens Work Update.
This, just to be clear, is a small contingent of young people who worked on this project over the summer. They've prepared an agenda item, and it's just exposure for them. They're going to present their agenda item to the commission. These are folk who work for us over the summer. Young people.
Is 10 a.m. the right time for that, or would we like to give them a little more prime time exposure?
I think the 10 a.m. is good.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Gainesville Fire Rescue Quarterly Update. Litigation regarding House Bill 1645.
Can I get clarification on this? This is now the third time that we would be voting on this. What does this authorize? Or I guess I'd like to hear from the city attorney why he thinks we need to authorize this after having voted to move forward plus an allocation of funds.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, it might be a misnomer to say that we're seeking authorization. I think we have been authorized, and it's more in line with a notification, but also of such interest that I thought, and I particularly thought there might be some commissioners who still thought that it required additional authorization, or at least would like some additional authorization. Make no mistake, it will be our strong recommendation that we have to address what we see as inconsistencies and ambiguities with these amendments to our charter in order to function properly, both in the short term and the long term. And then obviously, as to the lawsuit that's already been filed that we're listed as a defendant, we don't normally seek specific authorization to represent ourselves in cases in which we've been served. But it seemed the cleanest way to put it before you, to let you know this is what's happening in a matter that I think is considered momentous.
Right. I guess because it's momentous, I want to make sure that I don't know it, that almost in the opposite direction, that we put this out there. We're under such careful watch right now that, and if it's not necessary for our commission to authorize it, that, I don't know, it just, when we're talking about something that is as high profile as suing the governor, I just want to be, what exactly do we want to get out of that discussion? Is it really necessary to have that discussion? So I would prefer that we not vote on this, or if we do, we at least put it on the consent agenda, because we've already voted on it.
I mean, if there's
Commissioner Chestnut. Yeah.
Thank you. Am I unmuted? Yeah. Or if the attorney is providing an update, perhaps he should just do that with us individually, and then not put it on the agenda, because we have already authorized the expenditure, but he could just keep us informed. Maybe he would come back to us once the suit is filed and there's something else to say about it, but perhaps just meet with us individually now.
I'm comfortable with that if that's the sense of the commission.
Well, what does the attorney, I mean,
again, thank
what he
you. I'm
thinks.
sorry. I'm sorry, Commissioner. I did not mean to interrupt. Yeah, I put it on here as sort of a belts and suspenders to make sure that the commission was absolutely positive that they've given us this authority. I think we have this authority through the previous action of the commission. I think we have the authority through the power conveyed in the charter. So maybe it was inartful to have an item seeking authorization. It should have just been an update or a notification. And even that might be more than what you would like. I'm certainly open to pulling the item, and in any event, will be committed to giving an update to each of you individually or collectively at meetings as much as is desired. So I'm open to pulling the item. I just didn't want there to be a concern that actions were moving forward without the full knowledge of the commission.
That's fair. If I don't hear any other objection from the commissioners on the call here, we'll go ahead and pull it from the agenda, with the understanding that we've already given authorization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I will pull it, but be prepared to put it back on in the event that anyone asks me to.
Right.
Sure. Okay. Moving on to our resolutions for the morning. Non-binding resolution declaring gun violence as a public health crisis in the city of Gainesville.
Question on,
Yes,
question?
Commissioner Chestnut.
All right, is this something that we've done before? I thought we had already declared it a public crisis, health crisis.
I think the ask is to specifically adopt a resolution.
We never adopted the resolution, Commissioner Chestnut. The motion was made that we
Okay.
would do this, but the resolution had never
I
been
see.
adopted.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. All right, thank you.
And I have a brief comment also,
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor. This is probably already in there. I haven't looked at the backup, but we would probably want to put our draft agenda if it's at a point prepared enough and put it as one of the backup items for this particular agenda item, so the public can see what they have to look to see and look forward to.
I know the agenda is continually evolving. Some people are involved today and they're not involved tomorrow, but if we can get an outline put together, Commissioner Book, I'll do that. I'll try to make
Yeah,
sure.
that'd be sufficient. And it
Provide
doesn't
as
have
much
to have
as-
the names and the speakers, because I know those are probably changing but but whatever you think kind of generally gives the people a sense of the 2 days would be, I think, good, because it will inform partners who may want to participate.
Sure. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good.
All right, moving on, fiscal year 2023. Actually, this was a removed item. I apologize that this this was a removed item, and we'll make sure that this gets removed. So apologies for this.
Okay.
Is that the budget amendment?
Yes.
Okay, so we just need to leave a space for it because Commissioner
Yeah.
Chestnut chairs finance.
Right.
It's called the Finance Committee meeting on the 17th. The committee members include Commissioner Willetts and Commissioner Book. So she has called that meeting for the 17th, and hopefully with the review and approval at that meeting, we will move this item onto this agenda, but we didn't want to place the item here prematurely.
Okay,
Correct.
so it's a placeholder. Okay.
So, yeah, so just keep it there.
So do we want to keep it there, or did, my understanding was that we would add it onto the agenda once the finance committee took action, but I'm happy to have it as a draft. We can leave it as is if that's the will of the commission.
Leave it as a draft. Although I might say if there's no concern with this, perhaps put that in the evening, simply because I think we have an ambitious morning planned.
Mhm. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Moving on to our afternoon, we have the appointments to the City Plan Board, Development Review Board, Gainesville-Alachua County Regional Airport Authority, Historic Preservation Board, and Police Advisory Council. Status update on the sports complex feasibility, pro forma, and traffic study. Renaming of Forest Park. The resolutions for the afternoon, Florida Department of Environmental Protection resolution for resilient Florida grant program applications. And we have our adoption reading for the afternoon, the land use amendment Gainesville Car Delivery Center.
So I'm going to ask that you attach is the wrong word. Please place adjacent land use and zoning items that are on the same piece of property.
There's going to be a few of these, and we'll make sure that that happens for all of them.
Yeah, thank you.
These were a handful that came on very short before the agenda review, and we didn't have time to adjust the agenda. I apologize. Okay, moving on to second reading for the afternoon is the quasi judicial item Rural King Plan Development Amendment.
Okay, and just a question on that. And so this is ready to go. Everything has been met.
It would, I'll leave it to this city attorney.
Manager's office or the attorney, either one. Are we clear that that they've met the conditions at this point?
Yeah.
That is my understanding, and certainly I know that staff will be held to account if it's back here without that. I think the main concern was the wall.
Can
Right.
can we just be assured that the wall is in place,
We will double check.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
let's not keep it on the agenda. Let's not see it if the wall, if the conditions haven't been met.
I'll follow up on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Ordinance amending the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee procedures for first reading. Ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances relating to the sale, dispensing, possession, and consumption of alcohol.
So I've got some other questions and concerns about that. I would like to move that to August 3rd. Or 2nd or whatever that. Yeah, the 3rd.
I agree with that.
I do too.
Okay. We will move that over. Then we
And-
have, somebody else?
And on this point, I don't know, the way this is written, it says that it is revising the ordinance, but it doesn't really say what the practical effect of the ordinance changes would be, which would be nice. I was going through, I haven't actually gotten down to the point, but it's just nice for our neighbors to kind of say, like, if I recall, this moves the time back to 11:30 like we had before, or there's certain things. Just be nice to see what the practical impacts of this are so that our neighbors will know exactly what we're voting on.
Yeah, but let's not have a robust discussion about it here.
I'm not, I was talking specifically about the language that is in. So just so, because like, it's just, this is confusing. It's just saying that it's revising these various sections, but not what those actual revisions, what the practical impacts are. So no, I did not want to have that conversation here.
okay. We have another quasi judicial item, rezoning Gainesville Car Delivery Center.
Right, and that's going to be paired up with the
The
land
one.
use item at the top.
Right. And we have text change amendment for non-conforming lot requirements.
Is that first reading?
This is for first reading, yes.
Okay. All right.
Then we move into our evening session with proclamations. We have Disability Awareness Month, as well as Parks, Recreation, and Culture Month. For resolutions in the evening, we have the fiscal year 2024 general government budget.
This is setting the maximum millage rate.
Right, and for those of you who are, for whom this is the first time you've done it, this sets the maximum rate. This does not set the millage rate. It just sets the maximum that we'll be able to put into code. So we can come down from whatever we pick, but we can't go up from there.
And the commission actually has the authority to go beyond what we would be recommending, but I guess I shouldn't have even said that. You're correct, Mr. Mayor. I don't want to complicate it any more than it already is. What you said is just fine.
I just don't want anybody to think that that's the last vote on the millage rate. It is
Right.
not.
Okay.
Then we have the Dance Alive use amendment. And then for second reading is the Blues Creek rezoning and plan development amendment.
I have a question there, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, go ahead.
When we discussed, I think the same night, we had the other agenda item, which was fairly lengthy, which was the 300 Club. And I wondered, do we have that scheduled, Madam Clerk, for a different agenda? I actually kind of thought they'd probably come back at the same time, but you may have that already agended for a different date.
It did not come onto this agenda at this time.
All right.
My guess is that they have not reached agreement on the barriers and walls and fences that we spoke about.
Okay, thank you very much.
And Ed, speaking of which, Ed, I know that the folks from before were quite upset that this Blues Creek came on so late in the night. It might be nice if we're putting this in a list that this came a little bit earlier in case people wanted to show up at that last meeting. And I would just hate to have them come on again at 10 o'clock at night, and then because that also happened, I believe, at the city plan board. So it might just be nice to move that forward in the list.
That's precisely why I asked, was just to make sure there'd be some courtesy given whenever it was, that they're probably not right at dead last, given it was some healthy discussion before. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, we
It's-
can,
Go ahead.
Doesn't matter to me when it comes up, as long as we know and it has the capability to not keep a large amount of people waiting for a long period of time.
yeah, so let's make sure that's not the last thing on the agenda.
It's currently the first, second reading ordinance.
Okay.
I could reorder the agenda and move it above the adoption reading. If that way it would be the very, very first ordinance in the evening session.
Let's do that. Let's
Okay.
do that.
All right, we'll make sure that happens.
And that way, the two Dance Alive items will be back to back.
Right. Two birds, one stone. That works. All right, moving on to our first reading for the evening is the quasi judicial item for the Dance Alive rezoning. And if I'm not mistaken, that is our full agenda for July.
One of
20.
them, Kristen, maybe one more. Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
talk briefly about an item to address our fund balance and removing some of the restrictions that we currently have on the fund balance. We have a minimum and a maximum. And we talked about making some changes to those. So the finance director has actually been working on them. I think we'll be ready to get that into queue, Kristen, but it's not here. And I just wanted to put it on the radar. I'm gonna push it as hard as I can to get it in.
So is that, do we expect that to be an ordinance or is that just a general?
I think it's I believe it's a resolution. Cynthia, if you're here, how did we do it the last time? I'm catching her off guard, and so I'm apologizing for that.
I'm sorry, Ms. Curry, I was on another call. What was the
Yeah,
question?
you were multitasking. Is the
Yeah.
is there a resolution attached to the fund balance change policy?
No, it's a policy. It's just the policy the new policy that will be adopted.
All right, so there's no resolution attached to it.
No.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Mayor. There we go.
Okay, and if we don't get it done in time for this one, we'll hear it on the 3rd.
That's fine.
And that concludes the agenda for the 20th.
All right, any other questions, concerns?
Kristen
Very
did
good.
Kristen did a great job for her first time. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I hopefully this is the actual agenda, unless there are emergencies to add to it. It is an ambitious agenda, but it's one we can work through and still be home at a reasonable hour, I think. So
You think by 10?
that's my hope always.
Commissioner Eastman, I'll call you in a few regarding 674 regional transit changes.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, thanks, everybody.
thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.